What is up, guys? It's Aaron, the trucking guy, coming at you with Money Penny Trucking. I haven't made a video in a while. I apologize for that. Been wanting to make some content. I have a whole, montage of things I want to talk about and want to get to, and get you guys kind of some information on what's going on out in the industry. We've been really busy. We've been growing a lot. The industry's been really good. I've also had a lot of other things going on, but anyway, cut right to the chase. This video right here is going to be about what are you going to do. Okay, I want to throw out a couple of situations that happened to us this year, maybe since I've been making content or haven't been making content the past few months. But it's going to boil down to what are you going to do, okay? You guys all, especially guys coming in the industry or guys that are just getting started, or those of you that, just got your MC or just got your brokerage set up or just started your carrier, or just got your truck and want to become an owner operator and you're just starting your own authority. What are you going to do in the instance of a few different things, right? I see some of the guys online talking about, adding on trucks, and we've added on. We've been doing it now for years. We've been doing it for a while. We've added on several. We've had a lot of come and go. You have, your turnover percentage. But what are you going to do in a situation like this, right? I'm not going to get any names. He's actually a guy that I like that worked for us for a while. Okay, but he had a situation arise where he hadn't been with us for probably 8 months to a year. Okay, he had a truck, I think, break down or something. So he took some time off to recoup, get some funds together to repair the truck. Gets the truck repaired. He's using it for personal use, right? I don't know if he didn't have a tag on the truck, hadn't registered it yet. I think with the whole COVID thing, his thing was he applied for a tag, couldn't get it, or was getting an appointment with the DMV, something like that. They were kind of bogged down. So he's using it to haul his gooseneck with his skid steer or bobcat or whatever on his trailer, taking it somewhere. I forget what he said, to a friend's house or to sell it or something like that, right? And he gets hit by DOT, gets pulled over, right? DOT comes after him and says, hey, what's going on here? This is commercial equipment. What are you doing? Let me see your registration. Why are you not having any logos on the truck? Et cetera, right? Because he's not working for us anymore. He hasn't been working for a while. And I would never allow something like this, to happen in my company, but it's out of my hands, right? So what are you going to do in a situation like this? They hit him with $1,000 of tickets. I think it was like $900,000 worth of tickets, right? Failure to display as a commercial motor vehicle because he didn't have any logos on. Failure to have a electronic logging device in the truck because he didn't have it. It was, he was using it for personal use. This, commercial motor vehicle not registered properly, no proof of insurance for a commercial motor vehicle. I think he had regular insurance on it, or whatever. So he gets hit with all these tickets, right? Well, what they did is they went, they took the VIN number and they went against where the truck was previously registered. Now, I don't know if this guy just, maybe they had a argument. I don't know what happened or what took place, but my guy said, he calls me up, he's obviously a good guy. He says, hey man, they hit me with all these tickets. What do you think I can do here? And I said, well, I don't know. I'll talk to my compliance officer. We'll kind of go from there and see what's happening. If we can submit a termination letter or whatever. But he shows me the violations and it's under my company name. But he wasn't running freight and he wasn't running anything for me. He wasn't affiliated with my company any longer. He didn't have my logos on the truck. He didn't have my registration on the truck. He didn't have he didn't provide them any of my paperwork. But and he wasn't even listed on my schedule of trucks because obviously you have to update FMCSA constantly on your trucks and different things like that. So now I have a situation that I have to deal with, and I'm potentially liable because I don't know, what those fines and costs are going to be, and if they're going to give more to my company. Because sometimes you incur a fine to the driver, you're personally responsible as a driver, and then they also incur another fine to the company. If you didn't know about that, that is a thing. It just depends on what it is and what the infraction is. But what are you going to do in the instance that you hire a guy, and this is, a year later, something like this happens to you? What systems, processes, or team members do you have in place or people to help you to get out of a situation like this or handle a situation like this? What are you going to do? That's one situation. Another situation is we have a guy, his truck burnt down. Okay, it caught fire sporadically. Truck burnt down, right? He doesn't have the funding to take care of having it towed or whatever, right? So he calls a owner operator, great guy, still working for us actually, new equipment, one of our top guys in our fleet. And he's still continuing, he's since then taken care of it. But at the time, he didn't have the money to have it towed. He didn't have, and it was a big tow bill because they had to tow the trailer and the truck. It was a hazmat set, deal. Fire department had to come out, the whole nine, right? And he didn't do anything wrong, just driving down the road, something happened with, I don't know if it was the exhaust or whatever. I think they're still doing, some type of preliminary investigation with it, but something happened. He did not have the preparedness or the funds to take care of it, right? So he calls tow company, doesn't have towing insurance. I've continually told these guys, get towing insurance to help or alleviate some of the situation, that problem. But tow truck comes out. They want to tow it separately. They bring a big rollback for this. They pick up this. They have a housing act cleanup. It's like $5,000, $6,000, right? Now here's my problem. Even though the freight on the trailer didn't really incur any damage or have anything happen to it, they towed it and had control of it or impounded it and held it in a situation where they're not going to allow it to be released until the tow bill's paid, right? So what are you going to do? You bring on a driver, this happens to you, or owner-operator, because everybody's like, oh, lease on owner-operators, bring people on, but if they don't have any money, you don't have any money, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in a situation like that? Because you have to get those loads released and delivered to either the individuals where it was, going to, the receiver, or it has to go back to the shipper. You can't hang on to their freight. After a while, they're going to have a claim come against your insurance, or you're going to have a theft situation. They're going to report it, or whatever, right? So what are you going to do in a situation like that? If you don't have $5,000 to get these loads released or have partnerships with other trucks, if you're a one truck operation or it's even a two truck operation, how are you going to go get that trailer? How are you going to go get that freight? Do you know a broker? They can have it placed on another truck, and that costs money. I had to pay money to have it picked up and the units picked up and placed onto another trailer and returned, right? So in a situation like that, what are you going to do? That's what the title of this video is, right? Another situation, a guy that, and those situations have since been remedied. Both those guys, good guys, they're doing the right thing. Obviously we had to take care of it, but we're a large enough company that we're been able to absorb those type of things and continue doing business. Some people can. It places them out of business, right? So, with the title of the video, think about those questions. What are you going to do if something like that happens to you? And there's many other scenarios, but I just wanted to give 3 really good ones that I thought could show insight into running a trucking company, versus if you're an owner-operator, or vice versa. You could even lease other trucks or buy 3 or 4 or 5 trucks, put drivers in them, and lease them to somebody like myself or another company that does a good job, and you mitigate that risk a little bit, spread it out where you're not so wholly responsible for all of those type of situations. Get some towing insurance, just preparedness, save money, allocate it for things like that. And it's tough sometimes when the market's down, especially coming out of COVID. Things like that. So what are you going to do in that situation? Another situation that we had happened this year, a guy that's no longer with us, a couple of good guys. Guy, I don't know if he wasn't paying attention. The ramp was too tight. I don't know, but he had a large stack of pipe on a gooseneck, went around a ramp getting onto the interstate, trailer rolled, right? Bam. Luckily, by the graces of God, it did not throw the pipe all over the interstate, caused major accidents, caused major problems. It was just lucky. It scared him, obviously the driver, but the individual that was owning the truck was able to, deal with us. He called a towing company out. They wanted to bring in 2 rotators, right, to pick it up, flip it over. Luckily, nothing really happened to the equipment. The truck got banged up when it ripped the gooseneck off the ball, smashed the side of the truck all up. But the trailer didn't really get damaged badly. I think the coupling had to be changed just because it popped off the ball and it kind of damaged it. But the load didn't really see any crazy amount of damage. I think there was a claim. It was, I don't know, $1,800 or something. We took care of it. But rather than turn it over to our insurance, obviously, because it would raise our insurance premium next year, we'd have something on our loss runs. And you just don't want to go down that road at all. If it's something that's, that can easily be settled with a small amount of money, you want to take care of it and not turn it over to your insurance, because that can cause you to get dropped by your insurance company. It can cause you to have higher insurance premiums next year, the whole nine. So we took care of it, but the tow truck company comes out and we were quoted like, oh yeah, we'll get this thing flipped over. It'd be like $1,500, which I assumed because it was a big job. But they got done with the job. They hit us with a bill. I think it was like $3,900, something like that. It was crazy. They were there maybe 2 hours, okay? They came out, flipped it over, got them set on their way. Now, you can't just leave and not pay it, right? Because there's laws in place that I wasn't even really aware of that allows them to hold your unit and put a mechanics lien on it, and the state troopers will actually allow them to impound it right there, and you're walking. Unless you pay the bill, they take it back to their yard and hold on to the equipment until you can pay it and release it. And then at that point, it incurs storage, usually $100, $150 a day. It's pretty hefty storage. I think it's based on different states or different laws or whatever the legislation is. They have, X amount that they're allowed to charge at a certain point. So your hands are tied. If you don't have the money and you're out there running with a tank of gas from load to load, chasing freight, and you don't have any customers, you're not profitable, you don't have any money saved up, you don't have a credit card to absorb these losses, or maybe you do and you're in year 2 and you already had losses like that or situations like that happen to you, and you're trying to grow your business. What do you do in year 2, 3 when all those funds or the resources that you had, the credit cards, the whatever, are tapped out, maxed out? How do you continue operating your business? So what are you going to do in those situations? Okay, because we were able to withstand situations like that. We were able to, continue. We were able to keep it going. We were able to, basically absorb those losses. And one of those owner operators no longer with us. The other guy is planning to come back on with us that had the first situation. He might come back later on, and I don't hold him against him. Things happen. I guess he was trying to get a tag or whatever, but we'll probably get that dismissed, I would imagine. I'm hoping, because it was a completely, it was using it for personal use. It wasn't used for anything, CMV related. The fire situation, the guy is still on with us. Great guy. He works his butt off for us. Does a really, really good job. And he's, that I was really unfortunate. He's still recovering from that situation. Had to go back to work, grinding. Luckily, he was making enough money to buy another truck to put a driver in, and he was going to have 2 trucks on with us. Sad part is this one went down, and he had to jump in his other truck that he had ready to go literally that week. He had a driver lined up and everything to take off in that truck. So he would have had 2 trucks with us, and kind of growing his business within our business, and partnering with us, and kind of having a strategic partner that we were going to handle all the back end stuff. We do that with a lot of people. They may have 3 or 4 or 5 trucks, but they don't even have a CDO. They don't drive. They hire drivers, whatever. Kind of like having another business inside of your business, a way to diversify. So, but that's the kind of situations that can happen to you owning a trucking company, okay? So everybody's saying, go get your own authority, go do this, go do that. What are you going to do when those situations happen? I see a couple of guys on here. There's one that has, one of the biggest followings on YouTube. He's leasing on owner-operators, right? Does he have the money to absorb those kind of losses? You follow these guys out there. Do they have the ability to absorb those losses? Do they have the ability to get through a situation like that? Or does their truck get impounded and they're charging $100 a day? They tell you, I don't have the money to cover it. You don't have the money to cover it. Guess what? And at a certain point, you're looking down the hole of bankruptcy, because if the truck's left in there and it incurs $10,000, tow bill between $5,000 in storage or whatever's left in there for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and you can't pay it, you're not making any revenue with the equipment. Now you've got, you're paying payments to the finance company if it is financed. Now you're going to have a repossession, you're going to have tow bill, you're going to get sued on both sides. So bankruptcy is your only option. You got in this to make money, be successful, feed your family, and get into an industry where you thought you could thrive and make a good business. Some of you guys have ambitions of growing a big trucking company, but what are you going to do? That's the question, guys. What are you going to do in situations like the 3 I just explained? How are you going to absorb, what is your plan? Do you even have a plan? We didn't have a plan for any of this stuff. And we were very, very lucky, very fortunate that, we were able to work those situations out, get the freight where it belonged, absorb the claim, get the trucks towed, or relieve that, whatever needed to be done. But those types of situations happen every day, especially in companies that have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 150 trucks. Stuff happens all the time. It's common. You have, a lot of moving pieces. A lot of you have drivers, you have the truck, you have the freight, you have the shipper, the receiver, you have the broker. You have all these moving pieces constantly going. That's the kind of situation that we've had probably 6 attempts at claims in the past month, right? For just stupid stuff. I'll give you another example. One of my guys gets clean freight bills, no issues, right? He picks up a totaled truck from Copar, completely totaled. Truck's been rolled, hit from all 4 sides, completely totaled, right? Delivers the truck, guy looks it all over, checks it all out. Now we have pictures. We have our vehicle inspection sheet. We do everything, you know, the best we can to remedy these type of situations, to protect ourselves and our company and our assets. But he has everything he needs, right? The guy says, oh, the truck is damaged on the roof, and it wasn't like that when I bought it from Copart. You damaged it. Well, that's funny because we have all the pictures to prove it was picked up exactly the way that we delivered it. You know, it was attached from tire mounted straps to the side of the trailer. Nothing went over, you know, and it has clean bills. So if you inspected it when you received it, clean bills, pictures, everything's good to go. Why are you doing such a stupid claim like this, right? It's obviously because you don't have the money to pay. You're upset about something on the Copart side or whatever. You're trying to take it out on the carrier, trying to rip him off, get the shipping for free, you know, whatever the situation is. So how do you protect yourself? What are you going to do? So that's the title of this video. I want to make it quick, short, sweet, but the title of this one's going to be, what are you going to do in those situations when you have stupid stuff like that happen to you? Now, we have, I think, you know, like Landstar, a couple different companies, we've had stupid little claims come in, and we provide pictures. We provide our evidence that my driver didn't damage it, and it goes away. You know, but do you have a process? Do you have a procedure in your company that you guys take pictures? You know, do you have a camera in the truck? Do you have, do you save those to a Google Drive or whatever? You know, are you keeping all that information to protect yourself? So what are you going to do in the situation, and what happens when it happens to you? How are you going to handle yourself? Are you going to be able to recover from it? Are you prepared for it? Do you know that it's coming? Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You know, we've been doing this years now, and I've seen, you know, top to bottom of the spectrum of, you know, from the truck blowing up the motor to accidents to fender benders to the truck, you know, completely burning to the ground with all of your driver's belongings in it, you know, to rolling the trailer, to claims, to, you know, any type of situation, right? So how do you absorb those losses? How do you continue? How do you keep a good name in the process? But what are you going to do when it happens to you? This is the trucking guy signing off. So if you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. I appreciate it.